Hey, how you doing? David Taub here with Epic Guitar Instruction. Hope all is going well, and I hope your guitar and musical journeys are going famously. Today we have a special lesson. We're going to do one for the beginners, and this is a adjusted version of the Beatles song, Hey Jude. If you know my lessons, you know generally I like to stay very authentic to the original version of the song in the same key, the same tuning, and also I spend a lot of time transcribing the song to make sure it's very accurate. But here we're going to take some liberties because, you know, learning that first song or that first few songs on guitar is such a big thing. You know, when you're first learning guitar, you're struggling to play chords and to bend your fingers in these shapes and strum in time and change chords. And when it's so much effort, right? Totally worth it. But when you have a song to shoot for and it starts sounding like a song, it's a very special moment. And we're going to do this song in standard tuning. So go ahead and tune your guitars low to high, E, A, D, G, B, and E. Originally the song was recorded in the key of F. And obviously most beginner players are not at the point where they could play that F bar chord as yet. And a lot of times when you see people play it, they'll capo it up at the first fret and then play the shape of the E chord, but that's ringing out to F, and they'll play it like that. But the problem with that is that besides you'll have to play some B7 chords and then a lot of bass movement, and there's an F sharp minor 7th chord in there too. So you're going to have to play some bars that way too. So what I've done is I transcribed the song down 3 frets or a minor third to the key of D major. And this way it's just going to be some open chords. We're going to take some liberties with the chords, but it sounds like the song, and I think you're going to be really excited when you first start playing this and hearing a song come out of your instrument. It's basically 5 chords, 6 chords you're going to need to know to play this song. D major will be in the key of D major, so play that D major chord. You're going to need A major with 3 fingers, open high E. Take off that 2nd finger, and that's an A7, dominant 7th chord. You're going to need G major. Play it with 4 fingers like this. And I'll show you why, and I'm going to give you some chord changing tips in this video also to make this progression so much easier. D7 chord, another dominant 7th chord. E minor. 1st and 2nd finger use on that one. And then for the chorus at the end of the song, you're going to need C major. That's it. And if you got a second, please subscribe to the channel. You know, subscribing to the channel really helps us to keep bringing the content, as well as then you'll be notified when we have new lessons out, right? Leave a comment below. Let us know what videos you'd like to see coming up. And if you like the video, please click the like button. Give it a thumbs up, share it, and thank you so much for your support. Song structure-wise, there's basically 3 progressions will get you the whole song. There's 4 verses, there's a bridge section, and then there's a chorus. Because it's basically piano that I've arranged for guitar, I'm going to show you some different strum patterns too, as well as the easiest patterns to get you going with this. The song starts off with the first verse, Hey Jude, don't make it bad, take a sad song and make it better. Let me show you the progression first. So basically you're going to go from a D chord, Hey Jude, it's on the D, don't make it bad is A. Take a sad, lift off your 2nd finger, A7 on sad, make it better, D. And then you're going to go G for remember, on the member, G, letter into your heart, D. Then you could start is A7 again to making it better. All right, and first we're just going to do it with a straight quarter note. That's just 1 note per beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Change 2, 2, 3, 4. And you could use all downstrokes. We'll get into a couple other strums too, but let's just start with that one. And I can't sing the song, it's too high for me. It's out of my range, but I'm just going to say the words so you know when to make the change. But basically 1 measure per chord, so down, 4 downstrokes, and then you change. Let me play it for you. Hey Jude, don't make it bad. Take a sad song and make it better. Remember to let her into your heart. Start to making it better. Then verse 2 starts. Here's some key things that you need to do for your chord changing to really make it easy for this song. So if you follow along with the verse changes, I want you to look at this 3rd finger here, because this finger is going to stay down throughout every chord change in the verses. And you know, this is part of what I call shared fingers. When you have to change chords and a finger is sharing notes between multiple chords, leave it down. And it really makes your chord changes so much easier and faster. And remember also, fingers, you're on your fingertips, your fingers are cupped, and your fingers are as close to the fretboard as possible at all times. You don't want to be out like this when you're playing chords. You don't want to come apart like this. Keep it in that tight cluster. So when you're on the D chord, your first change is to an A chord. So all you want to do is you play your D, go to your A, you move these finger 1 and finger 2 up, and just slide this third finger. Don't take it off the fretboard. Slide it over 1/2 step, and there's your A change. These two fingers, again, I'm not taking them like this. They are just going like moving right along the strings, right? D, and there's my A. Third finger's been down. Then on your A7th, obviously that's easy. All you have to do is take off this finger and you got your A7. Then you go back to D. So again, just take this third finger and just slide it over, right? You're keeping that down, sliding it over, and the other two fingers are just dropping straight down, right? They're not coming off the fretboard. That's the first 4 changes. Then on G, guess what? The third finger stays down again. You just add your pinky, and your pinky should be right next to that finger anyway, so just add it right onto that high E string, and then you move the first and second fingers up. So there's your D to G change. And guess what? After your G, you go back to D. Leave that third finger down, and you just move those other fingers around them and lift the pinky, right? There's your G to D. Okay? And then A7 again, slide and get your 2 fingers up, and then back to D, slide and over, right? So if I play those changes, see how that third finger is not leaving the fretboard, and it really makes these changes so much more proficient. You always want to use the shared fingering and clustering principle. Try it. You won't believe the difference it makes. If you want to do a little bit different strum to emulate the piano a little differently, you could try more 8th note feel. 8th note is 2 notes per beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. See, we have the 1 and the and. There's our 2 notes before we get to the 2. And the way to recreate that kind of piano sound, down and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, because remember with piano, you could be playing the chords with one hand, and you could be playing the bass notes with your other hand, or you could be playing a melody line with one hand while you're playing the chords. A little different than guitar, but we could kind of emulate it. So you could do a strum like this. Strum the whole chord, like I'm on the D chord here, but then just strum the lowest string, like here, the open D string. Or even if you hit the open A string, just the low couple of strings. It doesn't have to be exact. The sound you kind of want is this. So whole chord, then just the root. Right? And the timing there's just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we're still using all downstrokes, we're just doubling it up. We're doing 8, but that kind of gives you that piano feel, right? Then you change to the A chord, same thing, and on the A chord I'm going to hit the whole chord, and just the low couple of strings. A7. Right? And then back to the D. Alright, and it doesn't have to be exact, but that'll give you a little different feel. Get the quarter note first down, then go to your 8th note feel, and later I'll show you a little strum pattern you could do too. And if you want some more chord changing help, to get your chord changing really on point, so much about it is, like I've been talking about, is about that fret hand technique. I can really help you with that. Click on that link in the YouTube description box. I'll send you my essential chord changing technique tips. It's an extended play video, it's not on YouTube, and it'll really get your chord playing and changing on point. Has all the technique tips, also has some killer exercises, and I'll also pair it. I'll send you also my ebook, which has more chord charts in it, more exercises, more lessons. It's a killer 1-2 punch. I'll send it to you for free. Just click on that link below. So that's the first verse, and there's only a couple of different variations between each verse because there's 4 verses. The first one is at the end of the first verse, what he does is, then you could start is A7 to making it better. On the better, he kind of lets it ring before the second verse starts. So it kind of goes like this. On the better, it's just kind of like a 1 and 2 and 3. And then you let it ring. Hey Jude, and then you start up with verse 2. Second verse is the same as the first verse, except at the end of the second verse, he plays that D, making it better. But then he goes to a D7. Because he has to set up for the bridge, and anytime you feel the pain. So he's playing that D7 through the first vocal line of the bridge. Let me show you the chords in the bridge. They're coming out of the last part of the verse 2, A7, then you begin to making it better. You go to the D, then D7, and you're playing that, and anytime you feel the pain, there's our first change to the bridge. The pain is on G, Hey Jude, refrain, E minor, don't carry the world, A7, upon your shoulder, D, and then D again. So 2 measures on the D, because the for don't you know it's a fool, you're on that D. For don't you know that it's a fool, go back to that G, who plays it cool, E minor, by making his world, A7, a little colder. Colder is D. And then the na-na-nas. Na-na-na, the first na-na-nas are on the D7, then he goes up to an A7. Na-na-na-na, brings it up a bit. The verse will sound like this, and I'll do the piano kind of feel strum. Bridge. Repeat the D. Alright, so I played the second verse there, straight on through the bridge section. The bridge section, 1 measure on all the chords. The only thing that's a little different at the end of the bridge, on the na-na-nas, on that D7, it's kind of like 1 and 2, and then you change to the A7, 3 and 4, and then 2 and 3 and 4, and then he's going to go into the third verse. Hey Jude, don't let me down, you have found her, now go out and get her. So after the third verse, there's another bridge, and then a fourth verse, and then it goes into the chorus. And that chorus part is that real catchy na 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 Hey Jude, and the improvised vocal over that Jude 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 Jude, and they just keep repeating that, repeating that, repeating that, repeating that. That's just a 4-chord change. All that is a D to a C to a G to a D. You could do that with the quarter notes or the piano strum, and I'm going to show you another strum in a moment, but that change, you could just do something like this. Repeats again and again and again, and they just keep going through that catchy chorus. Now the first verse and the second verse is more straight piano, so you might just want to do either the quarter notes or the piano strum on that. And then later in the song, like maybe even at the bridge section or even at the next verse, you could do a strum like this. I mean, you could do this strum at any time because it still fits. It's still the same amount of musical time. But here's a strum that will fit the vibe of the song. What we're going to do, and I'll just hold the strings to get this. We're going to go, here's a pattern. You're going to go down, 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 3 downs in a row. And I'm breaking this up. Whenever you have a longer, complex strum pattern, break it up into mini patterns or sections, and it's easier for you to digest rhythmically. So do 3 downs, and then a down, up, down. So you get down, 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 up, down, and then last part, up, down, up. If you put it all together slowly, down, 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 up, down, up, down, up. I'll just play it a few times. I'll roll it through so you can get the feel. Right, if I go through the first 2 changes in a verse with it, maybe later in the song. I probably wouldn't start with that. I'd start nice and piano kind of like, but definitely want to move the dynamic of the song as you get through it because there's 4 verses, so you want to kind of mix it up a little bit. Let's do a little play along. I'll tell you what, I'll play verse 1, right into verse 2, right into the bridge, and I'll go back into just the first couple chords of the next verse. And I'll use the 8th note strum, but this way you can kind of play along and kind of practice this, right? So start like this. Hey Jude. second verse. Anytime, feel that pain, there's bridge. That's the song. You can do this. Stay positive. It's going to be so much fun when this starts to come together for you. It's going to take a little bit of work, but remember, just keep putting that guitar in your hands every day. Just attack it a piece at a time. Work on the verses first, just with that quarter note strum, right? One note per beat. When you get that, you know, try to get the bridge section down, then the chorus, all with the quarter notes, then go to that piano strum. Then eventually work up to that strum pattern I showed you. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel. This way we can keep bringing the content, as well as then you'll be notified when we have new lessons up. Click on that link in the YouTube description box below. Get my extended play video lesson on essential chord changing tips and changing tips. It'll really get your chord changing on point. I'll pair it with an ebook. Stay positive. Be consistent. Put that guitar in your hands every day, even if it's only for 15 minutes or so. And enjoy the journey. Take care, and remember, your guitar playing is an evolution. We'll see you in the next lesson. Rock on.